If you've ever lived under an HOA, you already know the type, someone who treats a neighborhood association like their personal throne. For me, that person was Karen. President of the HOA, self-proclaimed community watchdog, and the kind of woman who thought she could rewrite the law if it meant getting her way. My house sat just outside of HOA jurisdiction, but Karen hated that. She couldn't stand the fact that my home was bigger, my yard was greener, and my garage held cars nicer than anything she'd ever seen. She had no power over me, and that ate her alive. For months, she tried to bully me, sending fake violation notices, slipping threatening letters in my mailbox, even standing in my driveway snapping photos for evidence. I ignored her nonsense, but Karen wasn't the type to quit. Then one day, I got an official-looking envelope from the county courthouse. Inside was a court order demanding that I pay $7,500 in HOA fees plus fines. The letter had a judge's signature at the bottom and looked legit, at first. But here's the thing, I actually work with the court. My wife is a clerk, and I know how legal paperwork should look. One glance told me something was off. The formatting was wrong, the seal was smudged, and the judge's name was spelled incorrectly. It didn't take long to figure out what happened. Karen had forged court documents. Now, instead of ignoring her antics, I went straight to the courthouse with the order in hand. I walked into the judge's office, the same judge whose name Karen had scribbled at the bottom of the page, and set it on his desk. The judge leaned forward, squinted, and then laughed in disbelief. "She actually thinks this looks like my signature," he said, shaking his head. "This is a crime. A serious one." That's when things got fun. The judge told me to sit tight while he contacted the sheriff's office. A sting was arranged almost immediately. They wanted Karen to think her little scheme had worked so they could catch her red-handed. So, I played along. I pretended I was panicking about the court order, even told a few neighbors I might have to sell my place. Of course, word traveled fast, and soon enough, Karen showed up on my porch with that smug grin plastered on her face. "Looks like the law's finally on my side," she said. "Pay up, or we'll be seeing each other in court." I smiled back. "Funny you say that. Because I have a court date lined up already, just for you." Right then, two deputies pulled into my driveway. Karen froze as they stepped out, holding a copy of the forged document. "Karen," one deputy said, "did you submit this paperwork to the county?" Her face turned red, then white. "And no. That's an official order. It came from the court." The deputy raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, the judge himself confirmed this signature is a forgery. You're under arrest for falsifying legal documents, fraud, and attempted extortion." Karen screeched as they cuffed her, insisting it was all a misunderstanding, but the evidence was ironclad. They found drafts of the fake documents on her home computer, along with practice sheets of the judge's signature. The fallout was brutal for her. She lost her position as HOA president immediately, banned from any future board involvement. The court hit her with multiple felony charges, and homeowners finally realized how deep her corruption went. Turns out she had been skimming funds from HOA accounts for years, using them to pay for vacations and emergency landscaping that never happened. As for me, I never paid a dime. The judge personally apologized for the ordeal and told me he'd never seen someone so bold, or so stupid, as Karen. To this day, neighbors still whisper about it. "Remember when Karen tried to forge the judge's signature?" They laugh. She went from acting like queen of the neighborhood to a cautionary tale, and she earned every bit of it. The best part? The same judge she tried to impersonate is the one who sentenced her. He looked her in the eye in court and said, "Next time you want to use my name, make sure it's spelled right, on your booking sheet."